My husband withdrew all the money from my bank account without asking me and handed it over to his affair partner. He said, "Don't think your options matter because I only married you to look after my daughter." I simply told him that money didn't belong to me either. Stepdaughter became furious. "You stole my college fund." I'm Carol, 32-year-old woman living in the States with my husband Owen, who's 36, and his daughter Dylan, who's 18. Now, I've been in Dylan's life since she was just a little girl of 6, and let me tell you, that child has grown into my heart like she's my own flesh and blood. When I first met Owen, he seemed like a dream come true, charming, successful, and a single dad to boot. I thought I'd hit the jackpot, but let me tell you, appearances can be deceiving. From the get-go, Owen made it clear that he wanted me to take on most of the parenting duties for Dylan. He was quite traditional in that sense, you could say, and he was always busy at work. After the passing of his wife, he just didn't know how to juggle things, and I took pity on him. I mean, what man knows how to take care of a daughter as young as that? At first, I didn't mind. I loved that little girl from the moment I met her, and I was happy to be there for her as we were dating and courting each other. But as time went on, I realized that Owen wasn't just delegating. He was completely checking out of his role as a father. "Hey, is Dylan in bed?" "Yes, I put her to bed hours ago. Where have you been?" "Working late. You know how it is." But I did know how it was. And it wasn't work keeping him out late. It was drinks with the boys or golf or any number of activities that didn't involve his daughter. As Dylan grew older, Owen's neglect became more apparent. He missed school plays, parent-teacher conferences, and even Dylan's birthdays sometimes. I was the one who was there for every milestone, every skinned knee, every broken heart. "Dad promised he'd be here for my science fair. Where is he?" "I'm sorry, baby. Something must have come up at work. But I'm here, and I can't wait to see your project." It broke my heart to see the disappointment in Dylan's eyes every time Owen let her down, but I did my best to fill that void, to be the parent she needed. Now, you might be wondering why I stayed with a man like that for so long. Well, let me tell you about another layer to this mess: my immigration status. See, when Owen and I got married, I was here on a temporary visa. Getting married to a US citizen put me on the path to a green card, but it wasn't a sure thing. Owen made sure I knew that. "You know, if we ever get divorced, you probably have to leave the country. It's a good thing we're so happy together, right?" He dropped comments like that all the time, reminding me how precarious my situation was. And fool that I was, I believed him. I was so scared of losing everything, my home, my life here, and most importantly, Dylan, that I never even looked into it myself. So I stayed through the neglect, through the long nights alone, through watching Dylan's heartbreak over and over. I stayed because I thought I had no choice. But let me tell you, karma has a way of catching up to people. And for Owen, it came in the form of a 26-year-old accountant named Zaida. I first noticed something was off when Owen started coming home even later than usual, with a spring in his step and a smile on his face that I hadn't seen in years. At first, I thought maybe he's finally realized what he had at home and was happy about it. Boy, was I wrong. It was Dylan who first voiced her suspicions to me. "Hey, Ma, can I talk to you about something?" "Of course, baby. What's on your mind?" "It's about Dad. I think he might be cheating on you." My heart sank. Deep down, I think I'd known for a while, but hearing it from Dylan made it real. "What makes you think that, honey?" "I saw him at the mall yesterday with this young woman. They were holding hands and kissing." I felt like I'd been punched in the gut, but I had to stay strong for Dylan. Thank you for telling me, baby. I'll handle this. And handle it, I did. That night, when Owen came home, I confronted him. Owen, we need to talk. About what? I know what you've been up to. Who is she? What are you talking about? Don't play dumb with me. I know you're cheating. Just tell me who she is. For a moment, I thought he was going to deny it, but then, to my surprise, he just shrugged like it was no big deal. Her name's Zaida. She works in accounting. I felt like I'd been punched in the stomach. Not only was he cheating, but he didn't even have the decency to look guilty about it. How could you do this to us, to our family? Family? Carol, let's be real. I only married you to look after Dylan. You've done that job, so what's the problem? Y'all, I was shook. I mean, I knew Owen could be a jerk sometimes, but this was a whole new level of disrespect. The problem is that you're cheating on your wife. And what about Dylan? Have you thought about how this would affect her? Dylan's 18 now. She doesn't need a stepmother anymore. And if you're thinking about leaving, remember this. You've got nothing without me. No job, no money, and no green card if we ever got a divorce. So why don't you just accept things as they are? I was furious, but deep down I thought he was right. I had given up my career and my life back home to be a full-time mom to Dylan. My whole life was here now. And more than that, I couldn't bear the thought of leaving Dylan. That girl was my daughter in every way that mattered. So I stayed. I swallowed my pride and my anger, and I stayed for Dylan. The next few months were tough, you all. Owen didn't even try to hide his affair anymore. He'd come home late smelling of perfume that wasn't mine, or he'd be texting with a goofy smile on his face. It was like he was rubbing it in my face. But I focused on Dylan. She was in her senior year of high school, and we were busy looking at colleges. That girl is smart as a whip, I tell you. She even won a huge scholarship from her school. $40,000. Can you believe it? When Dylan got that money, she was over the moon. But she didn't have her own bank account yet, so she asked if she could keep it in mine until she set one up. Of course, I said yes. Anything for my girl. So life went on. I was dealing with Owen's affair, helping Dylan with college applications and trying to keep our home together. It was like holding on to quicksand with a smile on my face. Awkward and frustrating. It wasn't easy, but I was managing. Then one day, everything went to hell in a handbasket. I was checking my bank account online, just doing some regular budgeting, when I noticed something odd. There was a withdrawal of $40,000. My heart nearly stopped. I checked and double-checked, but there it was in black and white. $40,000 gone. That was basically everything left in that account, save for a couple of $1,000s that I had earned throughout the years. It was Owen who had the big bucks and was always managing our funds, so there wasn't much left in there except for all of Dylan's money. The statement revealed that the money had been taken out from Wednesday to Friday, a couple of days prior. I started praying to every god I knew, asking for a miracle. But it was an error in the systems or something. Anything. Maybe I'd been robbed. I couldn't go to the bank myself because it was a Sunday. But I did call in to complain about the case, praying that someone would get back to me. But then, that's when it clicked. The only person with my bank details was Owen, so I knew who had Dylan's money. I waited until Owen got home that night, my blood boiling the whole time. As soon as he walked through the door, I was on him. Owen, what the hell did you do with the money in my account? Oh, that. I gave it to Zaida. You what? Don't act so surprised. She needed some money, so I gave it to her. It's not like you're using it for anything important. Are you out of your mind? That's $40,000. Look, Carol, I don't know why you're getting so worked up. You're my wife, so it's my money anyway. Don't think your opinions matter because I only married you to look after Dylan, remember? You've done that job. So just stay in your lane. Honestly, where do you even get all that money? No way a simple housewife like you could have all that. Without me noticing? No way. You can't handle it. I mean, look at you. Do you look like someone who'd have that kind of money? No. So I put it to better use, and you should be thanking me. As he was blabbering on about how I didn't deserve the money, I was seeing red at that point. But then suddenly a calm energy washed over me because I realized something that Owen didn't know. You're right, Owen. It's not my money. Exactly. Wait, what? Why are you buckling so easily? It's not my money, and it's not your money either. It was for Dylan's college fund. The look on Owen's face was priceless. All the color drained away and his jaw dropped open. What are you talking about? Remember that scholarship Dylan won? Oh, wait, of course you don't. You weren't there either. Well, anyway, your brilliant daughter, the one you barely give the time of day to, won a scholarship for 40,000 smackaroonies. What? Why didn't I know about this? You were on your important business trip to Egypt, remember? Or were you with that Zaida chick you love so much? Oh my God, that's a lot of money. Yeah, well, one would think to at least ask before spending all that money on an affair partner, right? But clearly I married an idiot. Don't insult me, I had no idea. Yeah, tell it to her when she hears about this. What? Please don't tell her. Just give me some time. Let me handle this. And why the hell would I let you do that? Why was the money in your account in the first place? Are you serious right now? She put that money in my account for safekeeping until she could open her own. That's the money you just handed over to your little girlfriend. She's going to have a cow. I should pull out my camera. No, that can't be right. You're lying. Am I? Why don't we ask Dylan? No, don't you dare tell her about this. But it was too late. All the commotion had brought Dylan out of her room, and she was standing in the hallway, looking confused and worried. What's going on? Why are you guys yelling? I looked Owen dead in the eye, daring him to stop me. He just stood there frozen. Dylan, honey, there's something you need to know. Your father took the money from your college fund and gave it to that woman. What? Dad, is that true? Dylan, sweetie, it's not what it sounds like. Dad, please tell me this is just a sick joke. The look on Dylan's face broke my heart. It was like watching someone's whole world crumble in real time. Dad, how could you? Dylan, please let me explain. But Dylan wasn't having it. The shock was quickly giving way to anger. Explain what? That you stole my college fund? That you've been cheating on Carol with some tramp? What possible explanation could you have for any of this? I didn't know it was your money. I thought it was just in the household account. And that makes it okay? To just take money without asking? To give it to some homewrecker? Don't talk about Zaida like that. She's not a homewrecker. Oh, so you're defending her now. Unbelievable. I knew about this for months, Dad. What? How? Bet you didn't even notice how distant I was becoming from you. Typical. You're a pathetic husband and a pathetic father. Baby, please. I know I haven't been the most present father, but I'm here when it counts. I pay the bills, I buy the groceries, I work damn hard for this family, and that counts for something. You know what? I'm out of here. I can't even look at you right now. I can't believe you just said that to me. What a joke. And with that, Dylan stormed out of the house, slamming the door behind her. The silence she left in her wake was deafening. Owen just stood there looking shell-shocked. I almost felt sorry for him. Almost. Well, I hope your little fling was worth it, because you just lost your daughter's trust and probably a whole lot more. Owen didn't respond. He just slumped down onto the couch, his head in his hands. I left him there and went to my room. I figured he had a lot of thinking to do. The next morning, I woke up and went downstairs to grab my cup of coffee as per usual when I heard the sound of Owen on the phone. He was in the living room, and from the looks of things, he'd been there all night doing God knows what. And from the sounds of it, things weren't going well. Saida, please, you have to give me that money back. It's important. I couldn't hear what Saida was saying, but Owen's responses told me enough. No, I can't tell you why. Just, please, Saida, I need that money back. What do you mean you've already spent some of it? It's only been a day. No, don't hang up. Saida. I heard him curse and throw away his phone, and when I came out of the bedroom, he was pacing back and forth, looking frantic. Carol, you've got to help me. Saida won't give the money back. She says she's already spent some of it on a new car down payment. And why exactly should I help you? Because it's Dylan's money. We can't let her lose her college fund because of my mistake. Your mistake. That's a funny way of saying because I stole it and gave it to my mistress. I know, I messed up, but please, Carol, for Dylan's sake. I almost laughed in his face. The audacity of this man, I swear. Let me get this straight. You cheated on me for months, hell, maybe even years. Tell me I'm worthless to you except as a babysitter? Steal our daughter's college fund, and now you want my help? Are you out of your mind? I'll do anything. Please just help me fix this. Why don't you tell Saida the truth, that it's your daughter's college fund? I can't. I'm too embarrassed. And anyway, she says if I keep bothering her about the money, she'll leave me and tell everyone at work about our affair. The company has a strict no fraternization policy. I could lose my job and get sued because of the power dynamics. Well, how the tables have turned. Looks like you're the one with nothing now, huh? What about Dylan? Don't you care about her future? That was a low blow, and he knew it. Of course I cared about Dylan's future. I cared about it more than this fool ever had, clearly. But I also knew something he didn't. Dylan is going to be just fine, and no thanks to you. But once she sues you for her money... Sues me? Yes, you complete buffoon. Once she sues you, she'll be more than fine. Don't you get it? If I lose my job, we'll have nothing. You'll have to leave the country. Is that what you want? And that's when I decided to drop my own bombshell. Actually, Owen, that's not true. I don't need you or your job to stay in this country. What are you talking about? Remember how you always told me my green card would be null and void if we got divorced? Well, turns out that's not exactly true. I've been eligible for permanent residency for 2 years now. I'm taking the test soon, especially after this revelation. What? But how? I did my research, Owen, and I feel so stupid for taking this long. Even if I don't do the test, we've been married for 12 years now. I could divorce you tomorrow and still stay in this country if I wanted to. I don't understand. Why didn't you tell me? At first, I trusted you. I thought you had my best interests at heart. But then I realized you were just using it as a way to control me. So I decided to take control back. But we're still a family, right? You can't just leave? A family? Is that what you call this? You've neglected your daughter her entire life, cheated on your wife, and stolen your child's future. That's not a family, Owen. That's a mess. Just then, we heard a car pull up outside. It was Dylan, and she wasn't alone. She had a moving truck with her. Carol, I've made a decision. I'm moving out, and I want you to come with me. What? No, you can't just leave. Watch me, Dad. I'm done with your lies and your neglect. I've got an apartment lined up, big enough for me and you, Ma. So what do you say? Dylan, honey, are you sure? How can you afford this, especially after everything? Then she dropped some news on me that gagged both me and her father. Remember that scholarship? It wasn't just $40,000. It was actually $50,000. I kept $10,000 in cash, just in case. Well, I don't know. Emergencies, I guess. Guess this counts as an emergency, huh? I couldn't help but laugh. My girl was not only smart, but she was savvy too. But what about the money I took? Your college fund? Oh, don't worry about that, Dad. I've already spoken to a lawyer my friend hooked me up with. I'm getting that money one way or another. What does that mean, baby? It means I'm suing you. And don't call me that. Suing me? But I don't have the money. Saida spent it. That's not my problem. You took it. You're responsible for paying it back. Maybe you should try begging your friends and family for a loan. Owen turned to me, his eyes pleading. Carol, please, you can't leave me like this. We can work this out. No, Owen, we can't work this out. You've had years to be a better husband and father, and you chose not to. Now you have to live with the consequences of your actions. I turned to Dylan, feeling a mix of pride and sadness. My baby girl had grown up so fast, and in many ways, it was because she had to. All right, honey, if this is what you want, I'm with you. Let's pack up and get out of here. You can't do this. I'll contest the divorce. I'll fight for custody. Custody, Dad? I'm 18. You can't fight for custody of an adult. And even if I was younger, do you really think any judge would give you custody after what you've done? And as for contesting the divorce, good luck with that. I've got more than enough grounds for divorce, Owen. Don't make this harder than it needs to be. We spent the next few hours packing up our things. It was amazing how little I actually wanted to take with me. Most of my life in this house had been about taking care of Owen and Dylan. Now I was ready for a fresh start. As we were loading the last of our boxes into the truck, Owen made one last desperate attempt. Carol, please, I love you. I'm sorry for everything. Give me another chance. I gently removed his hand from my arm and looked him in the eye. Owen, let me tell you the kind of man you are. Oh, world star. You're a sick, conniving, manipulative, pathetic little man who preys upon vulnerable people. You have a thing for exotic women because you're about as interesting as a soggy slice of bread, and you insist on ruining other people's lives because of how miserable you are. It's pathetic and it's gross. You need deliverance. But what am I supposed to do now? That's for you to figure out. We're not your problem anymore. With that, Dylan and I got into the moving truck. As we pulled away from the house, I saw Owen in the rearview mirror, standing alone on the front lawn, looking lost. Do you think he'll be okay? I don't know, baby. But that's not our responsibility anymore. We've got our own lives to focus on now. As we drove towards our new apartment, I felt a mix of emotions. There was sadness for the years I'd wasted, anger at Owen's betrayal, and fear about the future, but mostly I felt hope for a new beginning, hope for a better life with my daughter. The first few weeks in our new place were challenging. We were both adjusting to our new reality, and there were moments when the weight of everything that had happened hit us hard. One night, about a week after we'd moved out, I found Dylan crying in her room. What's wrong, baby? I can't believe Dad did this. All those years I thought he was just busy with work, but he never cared about us at all, did he? He just brought you here to be a live-in nanny for a kid he never even wanted. Oh, what a mess. I pulled her into a hug, my heart breaking for her. Oh, honey, your dad, he's got his own issues. But his failures aren't a reflection on you. You're an amazing young woman, and that's in spite of him, not because of him. I'm so glad I have you, Carol. I don't know what I'd do without you. Well, lucky for you, you'll never have to find out. I'm not going anywhere. Weeks went by, and we were settling into our new life. Dylan's college was about to open up after the summer break, and we still didn't have the money despite the ball rolling on suing Owen for his gross misconduct. We heard through the grapevine that Owen had indeed lost his job after Zaida exposed their affair. Last we knew, he was scrounging up some money from friends, trying to scrape together enough money to pay back Dylan's college fund. It seemed that karma was catching up with him in more ways than one. Owen was desperately trying to make up for what was lost, but his reputation had taken a serious hit. Word had spread about his affair and his neglectful behavior as a husband and father. Many of his friends and even some family members were distancing themselves from him, choosing to stay in solidarity with Dylan and me. It was a small comfort to know that people recognized the pain he had caused us. However, Owen wasn't completely alone. Some family members still took his side, unable or unwilling to see the full picture of his actions. It was through these connections that he managed to scrape together the money he owed Dylan. One day, I checked my bank account and was shocked to see a deposit of $40,000. Owen had actually paid back the money he had stolen from Dylan's college fund. This happened before we could fully initiate the lawsuit against him, so in a way, he managed to escape that particular wrath. Dylan was relieved to have her college fund restored, even if it didn't erase the hurt of her father's actions. Ma, did you see your account? Dad said he paid back the money. I keep blocking him, but he always finds a new number to text me on. I saw, baby. At least he did that much right. Yeah, I guess. It doesn't fix everything, though, does it? No, it doesn't. But it's a start, and it means you don't have to worry about your college expenses now. While this development was positive, it was far from the end of our dealings with Owen. The divorce proceedings were looming on the horizon, and both Dylan and I were determined to make sure justice was served. We had been in touch with a sharp divorce attorney who was helping us build a strong case. Our goal wasn't just to end the marriage. We wanted to ensure that I would receive fair alimony, considering the years I had devoted to caring for Owen's child and home, while sacrificing my own career opportunities. The lawyer thinks we have a strong case for a good alimony settlement. Good. After everything you've done for us, you deserve it, Ma. Thanks, baby. But remember, this isn't just about revenge. It's about securing our future and making sure your father takes responsibility for his actions. But the revenge part too, right? Oh, definitely. Revenge is definitely a major part of it. As the date for the divorce proceedings grew closer, I felt a mix of anxiety and determination. This was our chance to close this chapter of our lives and start anew, with the financial security we deserved. Owen might have escaped one legal battle by paying back the college fund, but he was about to face another one, and this time, Dylan and I were ready to hit him hard where it counts. A couple more weeks later, the day of the divorce proceedings arrived, and I was a bundle of nerves. But as we entered the courthouse, Dylan squeezed my hand, reminding me that I wasn't alone in this. To our surprise, the divorce process went smoother than we'd anticipated. Owen, once so confident and arrogant, now appeared a shell of his former self. He offered little to no argument throughout the proceedings, his dejected demeanor a stark contrast to the man who once thought he held all the cards. The judge, after reviewing our case and Owen's lack of contest, ruled largely in my favor. I was granted a hefty settlement that would secure my financial future, as well as a substantial monthly alimony. When the judge announced the verdict, I felt a weight lift off my shoulders. Years of being undervalued and manipulated were finally being recognized and compensated. As we left the courtroom, Dylan couldn't contain her excitement. "Ma, did you hear that? You're set. We're set." "Yes, baby. It's a relief, but it's bittersweet too." As we were about to exit the courthouse, we heard a familiar voice behind us. It was Owen, looking disheveled and desperate. "Carol, Dylan, please. I don't care about the money. Take it all if you want. I just want my family back." I felt Dylan tense beside me. Owen's plea might have tugged at my heartstrings once, but now it just felt hollow. "Owen, it's too late for that. You had years to be a family man, and you chose not to be. We're not your family anymore." Owen wasn't deterred. He stepped closer, his eyes wild with desperation. "Please, I've changed. I've learned my lesson. I'll do anything. Be anything you want me to be. Just give me another chance." Dylan, who had been quiet until now, suddenly stepped forward, putting herself between Owen and me. "Enough, Dad. You've done enough damage. If you don't back off right now, I swear I'll get a restraining order against you." Owen recoiled as if he'd been slapped. "A restraining order against your own father?" "You stopped being my father a long time ago. Now leave us alone." With that, Dylan took my arm and led me out of the courthouse. As we walked to our car, I could hear Owen's sobs echoing behind us. Part of me felt sorry for him, but a larger part knew that this was the consequence of his own actions. In the car, Dylan let out a long breath. "Do you think he'll ever stop?" "I don't know, honey, but if he doesn't, we'll do what we need to do to protect ourselves." "Yeah, I meant what I said about the restraining order." "I know, baby. Let's hope it doesn't come to that. For now, let's focus on our future." As we drove away from the courthouse, I felt a mix of emotions. Relief that the divorce was finalized and that our financial future was secure. Sadness for the years lost and the family broken. But mostly, I felt hope. Hope for the new life Dylan and I were building together. Not long after, Dylan went to college, as was scheduled, her college fund and tuition intact, and she hit the ground running to ensure that she'd keep her scholarship. She makes me proud each and every day. I found a job at a local community center not long afterward, working with kids and being a counselor of sorts. It wasn't glamorous, but it was fulfilling and it paid the bills. So there you have it, folks. That's my story. From trophy wife to single mom to independent woman, all in the span of a few months. It's been a wild ride, but I wouldn't change a thing because every twist and turn led me right here to this life I love with the daughter I adore. If there's one thing I want you all to take away from my story, it's this. Never let anyone make you feel trapped. There's always a way out, always a chance for a new beginning. You just got to be brave enough to take that first step. And remember, the family you choose can be stronger than the family you're born into or marry into. Dylan and I are living proof of that.